When I came to America newly, I used to think African Americans are lazy. They don't want to work and all that. You will never understand the struggle of African Americans until you live in the system for 5 years. Then you understand that being black in the system is already playing you 10-0. Like you are 10 steps behind. The schools in black neighborhoods, they are all underfunded. The only thing you can find anywhere, everywhere in black neighborhood is liquor store. Keep drinking and keep yourselves busy. Now I understand why everybody's fighting so much to live in white neighborhood. Before I used to say they are not proud of their skin color. They don't love who they are. But they're actually fighting for their children's future. Because being black in the system is already playing you 10-0. You are 10 steps behind. Is it you that is coming with underfunded certificates that want to be competing with somebody that is 10 steps ahead of you? Being black in the system is tough. You see, African Americans and Africans, we are all the same. Let us not be distracted. We are all the same. The only difference is that one is living in America, the other one is coming from Africa. Let's support each other's business. If you see your brother trying to make ends meet, support his business. You get to the point now. Peace and love.
Yeah, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share at Willie Doki Stories. But if you are used to watching me, kindly share the video, like the video. So today I have a very interesting topic. It's all about why black Americans can catch a break and who's really benefiting. Folks, let's be real here. Life in America isn't equal for everyone. We all know that. If you're black, every step feels like a struggle. From schools to job, from the streets to the system itself. Life keeps throwing obstacles that most people don't even notice. But the real question of today is, why does it have to be this way? And who is benefiting from keeping things like this? And today I have the real answer to those questions. First, let's watch these videos and we'll talk about it. Feel free to comment what you think about the videos and just subscribe, and I'll be here for more and more videos.
We don't want to judge people blackness, but then when Africans and Caribbeans come up, we judging their blackness. They come from countries that are black, that are run by black people, that they're raised by black people. We're judging people's blackness that are raised by black people because their black isn't American black, but Drake's black is not American black. And then we're allowing people that call themselves biracial and multiracial to speak for black issues while they refuse to even identify as black, right? And will try to assert that they are oppressed by black people, even though they're saying they're black one day and the next day they're saying they're Caucasian and they're French and Spanish and all this other stuff. Like, black is black. You can have all kind of other admixtures in you. The question about Drake's blackness is not about racial identity. It's not about ancestry. It's not about whether he has a black parent or a black relative. But that does not equal loyalty to black culture. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is not celebrated because his skin color was black or because his parents was black. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is celebrated because he helped pass the 1964 Civil Rights Act that led to a completely different life for black people and for non-black people. That's why all people, whether they black, biracial, woman, man, gay, straight, that's why all different groups of people, Jewish people, everybody celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. because of his culture, because of the way he lived, because of who he stood up for. It was not just because he was born black. Being born black is an aspect of your character. It does not define you in totality. And simply being black while you mishandle and are irresponsible with black culture, that doesn't get you the same respect as everybody else simply because your skin is black. Make it make sense. Y'all choose to pick up and put down the black struggle when y'all want to. Y'all be trying to redefine this black thing.
If for some reason you want to know what it's like to be a black woman in America, this is it.
I was trying to find a job, and I interviewed at this very popular media company. I'm not going to say the name. So I'm on the call with this man. He's a white man, and he's like going through my resume, and he says to me, "This is one of the best resumes I've ever seen in my life." So I'm like, okay, cool. I got this job. Like, my life is about to change. And then he says, "I almost feel like if other people saw this resume, it would make them feel bad about their own journeys." And I was like, huh?
Did y'all hear that? This is the best resume we've ever seen. Go back and watch that young lady's video, which sums up how black women are treated in this country when we give our best. And that post was a textbook case. The white man that was interviewing her said that this was the best resume he had ever seen. And it would be at that moment where you think, I nailed it. Because essentially you did everything you were told to do and you knew how to do. And it landed. You went to school, you put in the time, you elevated yourself, you were twice as good. That's what black women have been told to do our entire lives. But the older you get and the more you learn, the system starts to reveal itself. The veil, it starts to lift. And you realize what's behind it is something really ugly. Because suddenly you realize that your excellence is a problem. Go figure. Now it's you're overqualified. You make people uncomfortable. You're too good for this job. Your resume might make people feel bad. And baby, we know what that's code for. But just in case you don't know, let me translate. Your excellence is exposing our mediocrity. And white supremacy doesn't know what to do with that. Baby, that's not how it operates. Because if we're honest, the system was never built to reward merit. It was built to reward whiteness, which means that mediocrity, it can rise as long as it's the right color. So black women are constantly put in the position where we have to shrink ourselves or fail, tone it down or fail, dim our light or fail, make everybody else comfortable or fail. And it's all at the expense of our brilliance. So if you're thinking, why not a Kamala Harris, a Stacey Abrams, a Shirley Chisholm, or a Jasmine Crockett? That's why Massage Noir's goal is to destroy black women. And that right there, that's what it's like to be a black woman in America. All right, good people, drink your water. Stay rooted, real, and knowledgeable. And mind your black business. Happy Black History 365. And I'll see you next time.
So one thing that gets really hard about being a black person in America is like constantly finding out that people just hate you and you don't know why. Like, you're never really given a reason. You're just like, hey, this person hates black people. Recently, Hulk Hogan died. And I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. And then, of course, all this stuff comes out about how racist he was. It's like, oh, okay. I remember Dr. Seuss died. And I was like, oh, that sucks. I was a huge Dr. Seuss fan. Dr. Seuss truly, truly inspired me. And then I found out he died, and that really sucked. And this one actually hurt my feelings, but Dr. Seuss was extremely racist. And then you watch Taken, and I like Liam Neeson, and then you see a video of him saying some really racist stuff. You know, then a Republican president gets elected, and you're like, hey, this Republican president is actually really, really racist. And I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. Well, I hope we get a Democratic president. And then we get a Democratic president, and they're like, oh, well, this guy's also really, really racist. And then, like, growing up as a black person, you live your life wondering, like, why do y'all hate us so much? Like, what did we do? Like, what is it about black people as a whole that you just hate? Like, I don't get it. Like, off the top of my head, I could name 100 different racist things that white people have done to me specifically, and to my family. And I don't hate white people. I was involved with this white girl when I was in college and things were great. And then she started crying and telling me that we had to end this thing because if her stepfather found out that she was involved with a black dude, that he would disown her. Like, his hate for black people was so strong that he would disown his own daughter just for dating one. And I don't have the capacity to hate white people. I don't have the capacity to hate anybody. But growing up black is just a lifelong journey of finding out that everything is racist and that everybody just hates black people and you just can't.
So white people will never leave black people alone, and I'm gonna tell you why. White society's obsession with black people isn't new, it's centuries old. If you think about slavery, colonialism, and exploitation, from the start, white wealth in America was built off the backs of black bodies. Sugar, cotton, tobacco, rice. This wasn't just economics, it was a system where white people's very identity was shaped around controlling and owning and watching black bodies. But here's the wild contradiction in all of this, right? While trying to dehumanize us, white culture has always been obsessed with us, right? They copied our music, our style, our language, our food, even our rhythm, all while denying us basic rights. Think about jazz and rock and hip hop and fashion, all born out of black genius, only to be taken, watered down, and sold back to the world with a white face on it. So why can't they just stay away? Because in a system that is built both on exploitation and envy, distance is impossible. White supremacy depends on keeping black people in place, close enough to use, control, or imitate, but never free enough to threaten the hierarchy. It's a sick paradox, fear and fascination at the same damn time. On a psychological level, it's projection. White folks will project their guilt, their fear, and their insecurities onto blackness, and then turn around and crave the very life, culture, and resilience they tried to destroy. It's like they want the sauce, but not the struggle. Now, to be real, not every white person acts like this, but the system, the way whiteness has defined itself against blackness, makes it so this obsession keeps resurfacing. Whether it's over policing or culture appropriation or trying to legislate our lives, it always comes back to the old need to dominate mixed with a quiet desire to be what they can.
I want to talk to all the black Americans who are jumping out of the window in support of Iran right now. I want y'all to really think about this. Yes, the Ayatollah Khomeini did release black hostages in 1979, I believe it was. I did a video on it. It's going viral right now. It's like at 140,000. I'll need y'all to understand that that was then and this is now. And at the end of the day, you're American, and the fate of you and your family depends on Americans being victorious. Okay? So, yes, he threw us a bone and let the hostages go back in 1979. But this is 2026 and we're American. If America loses, where are you going to go? You can't go to Iran. They don't want you over there. Trust and believe me. So I'm not saying pick a side. I'm not saying be on American side, because I personally don't agree with the reasoning behind us being over there or even helping. What I'm saying is think twice about it and don't be an idiot and hate your own country, because this is our country, America. Don't think twice about it. Don't be one of these little silly fools running around here. You're on Iran's side, because trust me, if your ass was in Iran, you would not be treated the way you're treated here. You wouldn't have the rights that you have here. Trust and believe me, okay? So yeah, good looking out, Ayatollah Khomeini, for letting them niggas go back in 1979, but it's 2026 now. I wish you guys the best. I don't want no bombs dropped on you guys, but I'm American. And my freedom, my children's freedom, and their future depends on America winning any fucking battle we enter into. You guys got to stop being so emotional and use logic. Let's say we lost. Let's say Iran, Russia, and China did bomb the shit out of us. That means you're gone too. You kids and you fools don't think about that type of stuff. I really, it's like every video you make, you're here comfortable talking to an iPhone, electricity, plumbing, and you want us to be bombed to smithereens by another fucking country. Black people, wake up. Please wake up.
And we wonder why every black boy in America wants to be a rapper or an athlete. Because we don't prioritize education, brothers and sisters. And they deliberately do not prioritize education, brothers and sisters, because there is a fear of black intelligence. Oh, yes, it is. See, what they don't tell you is most of the major inventions that America uses today came out of the minds of black people who did not get an education sitting next to white people. See, brothers and sisters, we invented the gas mask, and we wasn't sitting next to white children when we invented the gas mask. We wasn't sitting next to white children when we invented the stoplight. We weren't sitting next to white children when we invented the self-lubricating engine. We weren't sitting next to white children when we invented the refrigerated truck, the golf tee, the radio transmitter. We weren't sitting next to white children when we came up with the technology for the cell phone or the internet. All of these things we did on our own in those old dilapidated black schoolhouses right here in Jacksonville, Florida. See, what y'all don't know is the reason the Supreme Court desegregated the schools was not to give black children a better education. The Supreme Court desegregated the schools on May 17th, 1954, because the white power structure was afraid that if we don't take over the education of black children, they may one day surpass our own children. You know what gave birth to these black Wall Streets? Those dilapidated black schoolhouses. And America was scared that if you don't bring the Negro under our direct academic supervision, he will surpass our white children. They didn't integrate the schools to help us out. They integrated the schools to dumb us down. You don't believe me? Guess what? Intelligence tests done on children from birth to age 5 reveal that African babies outperform the children, the infants of any other race, including the Asians. Our children outperform all other groups. They even tell you in developmental psychology that black children grow quicker than all the other children put together. Well, if the brain is responsible for intelligence, and if the brain is responsible for physical development, if the black child physically grows quicker than the other children, doesn't it also reason that the black child might be intellectually quicker than the other children also? That's why they came up with these IQ tests. I need you to understand something, Jacksonville, Florida. Testing came to America so they could segregate against black people. Let me say that one more time. The reason you got to take an LSAT to go to law school, the reason you got to take an MCAT to go to med school, the reason you got to take an SAT to go to college, the reason you got to take a GRE to go to grad school, the reason you got to take an exam to be a police officer or take an exam to be a fighter is because through the tests, they can engineer who passes and who fails. I'm going to go a step further because some of you are saying, no way. You're not going to convince me that they can engineer a test that will guarantee the whites pass and the blacks fail. How can they do such a thing, Dr. Umar? Let me explain it to you. Every test in the world goes through a process known as standardization. Let me tell you what standardization is, because I participated in the standardization for the most popular intelligence test in this country and the most popular achievement test in this country. Standardization is the process of testing the different demographics of your society. You pre-test everybody. Follow me. You're going to test poor black children. You're going to test rich black children. You're going to test single parented black children. You're going to test black kids whose parents only have a high school diploma. You're going to test black children whose parents have a master's degree. You're going to do the same for the Arabs, the same for the Anglo-Saxons, the same for the Jews, the Arabs, the East Indians, the Latinos, everybody. You're going to pre-test the test. So when they pre-test the test, they have the evidence of how you will perform on the final test. Stay with me. When your child takes a reading comprehension exam on the Florida State Assessment, the Georgia State Assessment, there might be 12 questions on that test. But the pre-test had 12,000 questions. The math section, it might be 12 questions. But the pre-test had 12,000 questions. My question for y'all tonight, how did they narrow down from 12,000 items on the pre-test that they gave the children all over America in secret? How did they narrow down from 12,000 items on the pre-test to the 12,000 items on the final test? They looked at how the black scored. They looked at how the white scored. They looked at how the Asians scored. So when you hear these news releases and programs telling you that black children are 10 points less intelligent than the whites, black children are 10 points less intelligent than the Asians, I need you to remember that Dr. Umar already told me that y'all tested the test before y'all came up with the final test, so y'all knew how the black children will do before they took the test. They engineer black failure. Do you know why? Standardized testing is the new Jim Crow sign. The way you keep black people out of opportunity is give them a test, engineer the test, and when they fail or score low on the test, you don't have to say, I'm keeping you out of grad school because you black. You say, I'm keeping you out of grad school because you ain't score high enough. The test score does the same thing the no blacks Jim Crow sign does. But the added advantage of the test score is you're using numbers and not words. And because you're using numbers and not words, black people think they have a fair chance. When we give an IQ test, brothers and sisters, there's 4 major sections of the intelligence test. There's processing speed, how fast you can execute intellectually. Black children do as well as Asians and Caucasians. There's working memory, how well you can hold information in your mind and manipulate it. Black children do as well as Asians and Anglo-Saxons. There's nonverbal reasoning, how well you can solve problems for which you receive no education, like a Rubik's Cube. Black children do as well as the Anglo-Saxons and the Asians. So if black children do as well as everybody else on processing speed, if black children do as well as everybody else on nonverbal reasoning, if black children do as well as everybody else on working memory, why is there a consistent 10-point black, white, black, Asian test score? You know why? I neglected to give you the final composite. And guess what that one is called? Verbal comprehension. Do you know what that is? That's the words and ideas white people use that black children never heard of, don't need to know about, and it has nothing to do with how smart you are. In fact, we call verbal comprehension crystallized intelligence. Do you know what that means? It is based on how well you've been educated. So what is it doing in an IQ test? IQ test is supposed to measure native intelligence, not learned information. So you know why they leave it in the IQ test? Because without it, there's no black-white test gap. The white privilege is in the verbal scale. So you say, Dr. Umar, why don't we get them to take it out? They'll never take it out. Because if they take it out, the fallacy of white intellectual superiority falls apart. And if they take it out, black children in Florida might start scoring higher than white children in Florida. And you can't have black children in Florida scoring higher than white children in Florida because you upset the status quo. Now you got to ask, why we only got 2 black students working on a medical degree at the University of Florida if blacks are scoring higher? Why you only got a handful of blacks at Florida State working on a law degree if the black kids are scoring higher? If the black children outscore the Asians and Anglo-Saxons, you no longer have an excuse for white privilege. So they use test scores to keep black people in their place. America tests more than any other nation on earth for that very purpose of denying opportunity. Because guess what, brothers and sisters? If you intend to teach everybody, you don't need a graduation exit exam. In fact, how is it possible that I can have straight A's and B's on my report card for 12 years and fail a graduation test? As Brother Malcolm said, you've been had, you've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok and let.
Yeah, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today we're going to talk about 7 things, if not 6 things, which black people face each and every day in the United States. And most of the people don't even know, and most of the people know. It goes both ways. And my first thing is, let's talk about education. Black people, black kids are often forced into underfunded schools with overcrowded classrooms and outdated materials. While others, neighborhoods, the white people, gets the best resources, the best teachers, the best program, many black communities are left behind, and that affects everything later in life. If you agree with me, give this video a thumbs up. The second thing is economic inequality. What about it? Blacks are most likely to face unemployment, lower wages, and even fewer opportunities to build wealth. Generational wealth has been historically blocked by discriminatory policies like redlining and unfair lending practices, leaving families with less financial security and opportunity. I hope you can get that done. And my third point is housing is another major issue. What about housing? Black families often pay more for worse conditions or even denied housing altogether. Neighborhoods are segregated, services are worse, and investments are lacking. I hope you know what I'm talking about. And my fourth point, this is my fourth point, is all about healthcare, insurance. Black people face, and this is very, very important, black people face higher rates of chronic illness and less access to quality care. Just because they're black, that's because of their skin color. You can just imagine, you're sick, but you can't access a very, very good healthcare just because of your skin color. For instance, insurance coverage is lower, and systemic biasness in medical treatment leads to worse outcomes. That is self-explanatory. Just because you're sick and you're black, you can't access good healthcare. Things black people go through is very worse than you think. And my fifth point is most black people experience racism. This is everywhere. This is self-explanatory. This is alive every day. We see it every day, everywhere. In Chicago, yeah, name them. And from job interviews to microaggressions to unfair treatment in social and legal system. No matter how hard someone works, prejudice can block progress. We all know that. And the worst point, the last and the worst, if not the least, police brutality. blacks are far more likely to face aggressive policing, wrongfully arrests, and fatal encounters with law enforcement, the police. Lives are lost every day. Families are traumatized, and justice is rarely served to the black people. Yeah, that is very, very evident. On top of that, folks, mental health. I repeat, mental health pressures and social discrimination creates constant stress. The media often misrepresents black communities, amplifying fear or negative stereotypes while ignoring the real struggles and achievements of the black community. Sure enough, black communities are going through a lot that people can see it. So folks, here's the truth, the hard truth. Life is stuck against the black Americans in ways most people don't see it. From schools, from jobs, and housing to health cares, policing and everyday racism. The system is full of barriers. And while we work hard, push through and survive, who's really benefiting from this? From keeping these struggles in place? Folks, I want to hear your comments. I want you to drop your thoughts in the comment section. Is it time we all stop pretending these issues don't exist and start talking about the reality black Americans faces every single day? Enough of the criticism. Let the black people access good health care. Let them enjoy, treat people fairly. Everyone deserves to be treated fairly. Everyone deserves to access good health care. Everyone deserves to be treated equally with the police. Until next time, brothers and sisters, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Until next time, big up yourself.